And we're live. Today on First Cup, we've got some more quotes from famous boxers. Those always seem to go over well. I'm going to give you a behind the scenes big update on free training day. And, the super special thing that I'm doing later on. And it relates to martial arts. So stick around. We're live in 8. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Wednesday. It's August 18th, 2021. My name is Jeremy. This is my first cup of coffee. I woke up to an interesting message on the Facebook page, and it was somebody asking for a private lesson. And my initial reaction is, good morning, Daniel. Good morning, Stacy. My initial reaction was, we're not a school. And then I realized, what if they know that? What if they just want to do a private lesson with me and that it took me 30 minutes to wake up enough that I wrapped my brain around that? So I sent them another message saying, you may actually already know that. Maybe people want me to teach them. I have a pretty decent teacher. I'm good at finding stuff for people to work on. Good morning, Dennis. Oh, my friends are here. Coffee came out good this morning. I want a coffee person. And I want someone to sit there on social media and like all the Instagram accounts that like us back. That's it. I want many more things, but that's on the list. It's tough being this busy. It really is. Yesterday, I stopped work at 2:30. And as I drove to the gym, feeling like a complete lazy bum, I realized, hey, this is the amount of hours most people work. Like I work from 6:30 when we started the show to 2:30. Wow. It's nuts. I don't know how people do it. Well, I do, but oh man, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but I put up a post yesterday about the whiskey and the rankings on the whiskey. Daniel says, if I were anywhere close to you, I'd absolutely be hitting you up for a lesson or 3. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Stacy says, hey, I can like Instagram accounts back if you truly need it. I don't know. I don't think it would actually do anything. You know, our social media strategy is in the midst of changing. I've got a client who desperately needs a change. And so I worked up this whole new approach that I really like, this new framework that actually prioritizes the things that are priority. And so I'm going to work through it with them first and work out the kinks, because there's less to lose for them because their social media, even though I've been working on it and it's getting better, we're starting from nothing. And so if it completely falls off the edge, it doesn't really change anything. Good morning, Jenny. Look at all these people that are here. So if you happen to be a whiskey drinker, let me show you. If you can get your hands on a bottle of this, you should. Everything in my collection, I'm done buying expensive whiskey. You know, I'll buy some. I think I mentioned this on the show. So I was at the liquor store last week. Those bottles cost $8, $9, $10, $12. I think that bottle of Rebel was like $15. It's one of the best bottles of whiskey I've ever had. So just throwing that out there. Money does not necessarily reflect quality. And I think we know that innately. Something in my eye. I think we know that, but we tend to associate cost with quality, which is why when I very quietly raised the prices on sparring gear, nobody batted an eye. Didn't get any hate mail, no messages, no, why does this cost more now? because it was already underpriced. When we launched the gear, it was supposed to be $50 to $60 per piece. A full set of 3 would have been $160. But nobody knew who we were, and it wasn't selling. So I dramatically knocked the prices back. And now that people know who we are and that this stuff will last 2, 3, 5 times longer than anything else on the market, they're willing to pay. Yep. So prices are going to slowly march up, which means if you want gear, get it. Because at some point when it becomes the priority again, we'll do it. So yesterday, as I sat down and sent invites to more instructors for free training day, and had a few people say, no, I'd love to, but I can't, etc. I realized we were very close to maxing out the number of instructor slots, and there were still more people I wanted to invite. So I reached out to Susanna, who's the one helping us out with the venue. And I said, hey, let's chance thing we can get another spot in the school, because we're going to use the gym, and we split the gym, half over here, nice and easy. She said, we could use one of the classrooms. We just have to put everything back. And there are some sessions that would work just fine in a classroom. So I think we're going to do that. Now, she and I are actually going to be in a car for a while this evening. Because Daniel says prices of everything are going up, at least here in the UK. I'd expect for sparring gear to cost more. Honestly, we've been selling sparring gear way lower than it should be. Based on our production cost, we should be selling our gear for between $55 and $65 per piece. Like a set of boots should be that. I don't mind selling it a little bit less than that, because theoretically, if we scale up, we can never do that, the price will come down a little bit. But for now, the way it used to be, people would order a set of boots or a set of gloves, and I'd put them in a box, and I'd ship them, and we would lose $1 because we do free shipping. That sucks. Took all the motivation out of it. So Suzanne and I are going to be in a car driving, because I'm going to go check out a new karate school, new to me. Anyway, I know of the instructor. This person has not been on the show, but it's not because I wouldn't have them on the show. If we don't have a dozen friends in common, I would be surprised. I've known who this person was for a very long time. I don't think we've ever met. They have a wonderful reputation. And is it Goju? I think it's Goju. I may be wrong. Goju Karate. But we're going to go give it a shot, because I'm ready to try something different. Ready to put a white belt back on. It's been a while. I was going to go check out a school last night in Burlington, and I didn't want to. I will eventually, but I just didn't want to. I'm going to be in Burlington tomorrow and Friday, and I just didn't want to drive up there a third day this week. So we'll see. But while in the car, Suzanne and I will talk about free training day, because this is going to be the first time she can actually train. She's been well, I don't want to tell her story, but she has been able to make it, even though she's helped us out. Dennis says Sarah is coming to free training day with him. Dennis is teaching a session. And as we get closer, Dennis will talk about format and everything. All the instructors. Do we have any other instructors in here? I don't, well, not all of you are commenting, so I don't know everybody who's in here, but to anybody who's in here who is on the instructor roster, you will receive plenty of instruction on what to do, how to do, etc. I try to take care of my people. And if you've taught before, you know that. And by take care of, I mean provide information. You still got to get there. I'm not paying you. You got to buy your own lunch or bring your own lunch. You should bring a lunch. We may have a lunchtime session, like a discussion session. I don't know yet. Coffee came out really good. What's going on today? It's Wednesday. I got to do the books. Client call. I discovered a client's website was kind of broken yesterday. I was like, oh, I'm going to have to fix this. So we had a chat on the phone. Client said, you know, I really don't want to deal with this right now. I said, I know. I don't either. It's not really broken. It's just kind of broken. People can still find stuff. It just doesn't look right. So we're going to talk more about it today. Figure out a plan. It'll take me 2-3 hours to fix it. It won't be that bad. So, anything else? I don't think there's anything else. I feel like I'm doing something this afternoon. Is there something going on? Oh, yeah. Going to karate. Clearly, I need more coffee. Let's dig into the quotes. Let's see what you all gave me to talk about. I know Frank gave me some stuff, and I think that's all. Checked Facebook. I didn't see anything new on Facebook. Let's look at YouTube. Frank. Nope, just quotes from Frank. Thank you as always to Frank. Frank, I finished up with this pint of ice cream yesterday. Frank sent me some ice cream because he's a great friend, and he knew I was sad. That one was really good. And yes, I had bourbon with the bourbon pecan ice cream. Lilith is waving hi to you. Hi, Lilith. All right. Let's dig into these. Life doesn't run away from nobody. Life runs at people. Joe Frazier. The idea that we will ever be fully in control, or even mostly in control of our own lives, it's a misnomer. It's silly. For example, let's take a step back from who you are and where you're at. If you work for someone else, it's a huge part of your life that you don't control. Even if you do, you aren't your customers or your clients. You aren't your employees. There's a lot of external influence. Have you ever had an employee or a customer or a boss have a bad day and that strongly negatively impacts your day? How about when you're driving? You don't control those other cars. Any one of them at any time could lose control and crash into you. And I say all this to get you to realize that if control isn't really something we have, if it's kind of an illusion, you can just kind of go with it. I've spent a lot of energy trying to exercise control over my life and realizing it's mostly a waste of energy. So let's just go with it. Let's just go with the flow. Things happen. You deal with the fallout and you march on. Next. Boxing is the magic of men in combat, the magic of will and skill and pain and the risking of everything so you can respect yourself for the rest of your life. FX Toole. Now, I don't know who that is. Clearly a boxer. I don't think full-blown boxing matches are necessary to achieve those things. If your mission in life or purpose or the thing you feel called to do is boxing, yeah, it is. But we're all called for different things. Right now, this is my calling, talking to you. Whistlekick, the videos that I put up, the programs, all the things that we do for martial artists. That's my calling. That's why I've spent so much time on it. That's why I've invested money, heart, and soul into it. Because if I didn't, I don't know how I could look at myself in the mirror. This is what's been put in front of me. I don't know what percentage of people listen to that calling. Maybe some people don't have a calling. But I have to imagine that for people who ignore it, life is pretty frustrating. To know that there's something you should be doing and you're not doing it. And so if anybody watching or listening fits that group, I hope you'll take a step. Could have something to do with martial arts or maybe not. That's okay. If you want to talk to me one-on-one about it, I'll do that. I'm always open to talk to this audience. If you want a quick phone call, we can do that. I'm happy to help. The more good people doing good things in this world, the more we all benefit. I'll spend some time on that. Coffee. Tasty coffee. Andrew and I recorded 4 episodes yesterday, including one on flexibility. It's related to the flexibility program, which if you still haven't checked out, it's free. I don't know why you wouldn't. whistlekickprograms.com or whistlekick.com. We've got it over there. You can even use your discount code on it. So it's 15% off of $0. No, I'm not going to give you money. It's not a coupon code. It's not like a $15 discount that I give you money back. It's 15%. Use the code first cup at checkout. I don't even know what the system would do. It would probably just say, a $0 discount. Or the other episodes we did. I'm not going to tell you. Unless you're in the Patreon, you'll probably get a message in there later today. Ooh, we did one on that. And we did one on that. Oh, and we did a Q&A. Some of you send in awesome questions for the Q&A. I really appreciate that. Only a man who knows what it is like to be defeated can reach down to the bottom of his soul and come up with that extra ounce of power it takes to win when the match is even. Muhammad Ali. Daniel says, I really should look at the Patreon feed one of these days. Yes, you should. We put good stuff in there. I try to make sure there's overwhelming value. I really do. And I think we do a good job. I say it in intros and outros. People don't stop contributing to the Patreon very often. And we get more and more people coming in. So that tells me we're doing something right. And I really appreciate all the people who contribute. So this quote, the idea of losing, failing. I'm not good at losing. Now, that doesn't mean I'm a sore loser. It means that I don't pull the plug on things that maybe I should. I think back to my 20s, there were romantic relationships that I kept on life support I put in 99% of the effort. I shouldn't have. I was inexperienced. I didn't know. There have been aspects of whistlekick that we should have stopped doing sooner. Things that should have never happened. Things that did not go well. I know people who attended the tournament in 2016 call it a success, but it didn't hit the numbers I was looking for. A lot of the vendors were unhappy. It lost money. I consider that event a failure. I learned a lot. I wrote a book out of it, but it wasn't a success. And I think we need to recognize when things don't go well, because that's where the lessons are. How does a kid learn to walk? By falling down a bunch. How does a white belt learn how to kick? By falling over. How do you learn how to spar? By getting punched in the face because your hands weren't in the right place or you didn't move or whatever. We learn in every aspect of life and life itself by making mistakes. And if you don't create opportunities to make mistakes, you're not truly learning. If I do something and I get it right the first time, I know a way to do it, but that isn't necessarily the best way. And there are a lot of people who find a way to do a thing and they continue to do that and are fearful of trying a different way, because what if that other way doesn't work? Well, the more things you screw up, the more you hone in on not just a way, but the best way. And shouldn't that be the goal? Dino says he donates to Patreon for First Cup and the podcast. I don't need more stuff. Well, I understand that. And Dennis is agreeing. This is a great question. What else has whistlekick stopped doing because it wasn't working? I'm trying to remember the multitude of things that you've done or do. We stopped doing whistlekick live after 18 episodes, a year and a half. Gabe and I put into that for a number of reasons. Gabe needed to step back because he had other things that became a higher priority. And I don't say that with any kind of negativity. Most of the people Gabe included on that project volunteer. They donate their time to the things that we work on because they believe in the mission. And if we had gotten big enough that we had taken advertisers or something, yeah, Gabe would have been paid. But those numbers, we hit almost the same numbers on First Cup now that we did on whistlekick live after 18 months. It's not where it should have been. It should have been a much bigger thing. Why? I don't know why we didn't. It just wasn't what people wanted, and that's okay. Would it have been different with this software and putting comments on screen? Maybe. I don't know. There are other things. What else happened? What else? Early on in the podcast, we were doing weekly wrap-ups of like news and stuff. We stopped doing that pretty quickly. See, now here's a good example of, even though I consider the tournament in 16 a failure, Stacy has a very different perspective. The tournament changed my life. Success. Maybe missed all the traditional marks of success, but may have literally saved me in the years afterwards. That was when, Stacy, let me know if you're okay sharing a little bit of what you mean there, or you can type it and I'll post it. Yes, whistlekick live was on about 3 a.m. for me, so not really something I could attend. Yeah, I understand. We had to pick a time. And there are smaller things. when we look at various aspects of things. I had to do a little bit of work on when Andrew and I were recording yesterday. We were just finishing the 4th episode, and my computer rebooted. And so I had to go in and record an outro, and I had to find where it ended so I could give Julius the timestamp. And I realized that the direction I was talking into the mic, I thought I had a good spot, and I didn't, and it didn't sound great. Now I know that what I was trying to do doesn't work well with that setup. So I'm going to make a change, and it'll be fine. Constant iteration. And it's something as martial artists that I think we really understand, but I don't think we bring it out into the world. Do a form, spar, do techniques, whatever. Someone is generally watching you and providing feedback. How do you get that feedback for yourself? Well, if it's a thing that somebody isn't going to watch or observe out in the real world, you have to create your own standard, your own criteria to evaluate. And going into that makes a lot of sense. A lot of businesses will have, self-assessments, and I think people look at them the wrong way. I think they're implemented in the wrong way too. There's nothing that stops you on, let's say you drive to work. Let's just take work. This is a clean example. On your drive or bus or whatever to work, think, okay, what's going on today? What are my goals? What are the priorities? How do I define a successful day of work today? How do I define an adequate day of work today? And be really specific so that on the drive or the bus ride home, you can evaluate yourself. How did I do? How would I score myself? Where could I have done better? Where did I go wrong? What did I do right? It's not always an easy mindset. It can be tiring, but it doesn't have to be. When you come out of doing a form or a technique or whatever in training, and your instructor or somebody says, try this, try that, you don't step off the floor and go, man, I'm so done with martial arts. It's an opportunity to get better. Get better, get better, get better, get better. If you aim for that 1% improvement, we haven't talked about that in a while, but if you aim for 1% improvement every time you do a thing, that compounds over time and becomes pretty substantial. 3 years in, we decided I was going to stop wearing a bathrobe. That was something Frank and I talked about. It was his idea. 3 years in, we switched to this software. Andrew and I have talked about it. Are we going to do maybe one of the Thursday episode recordings live and use this software? I don't know. Maybe. We might do it. We'll figure it out. Constantly look for things that we can try. See what works, see what doesn't, learn from both, and push forward. So Stacy is willing to share. Totally can. The power board breaking became very important to me in the middle of a divorce and a dear friend dying. It brought me closer to you and a new network of uplifting people. I was depressed and just aimless in life. It gave me something to focus on that made me feel strong. Yeah. What Stacy is really referencing is when I put together this tournament, I pulled all the things I could, all the people I could. And one of the people and the things was the U.S. Breaking Association, World Breaking Association, which is an organization that sanctions and oversees breaking records. They have a strong presence here in the Northeast, but they are not exclusive to the Northeast. And Adam Grogan, who's been on the show, I think he was episode 5, longtime friend, I think the world of him. He came and he coordinated all the breaking stuff. And it was very different than the way most people attending the event had seen breaking handled. And some people, like Stacy, really fell in love with it. And it's become a passion of hers. And I love watching her put her foot through half a dozen boards and the smile on her face after. It makes me smile. We've got one more quote here. Let's read this, and then I'm going to send you on your way. I'm going to go, I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I have to check in on the graphics for the programs. If you ever dream of beating me, you'd better wake up and apologize. Muhammad Ali. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day. Hope you leave some questions, some comments, some feedback, whatever, either on Facebook or on YouTube, or, we get like one person who watches for a few seconds on Twitter. Maybe eventually they'll stick around. You can follow us on social media at whistlekick. You can follow me on social media at Jeremy Lesniak, everywhere but Twitter, Jay Lesniak over there. I don't use Twitter much. Thanks for your support. I appreciate all of you, truly. And if you're watching later on, join us live sometime so you can throw some comments in and all that. Have a good one, everybody. Peace.